I'd always really wanted to go to Venice because I had these CDs when I was little, the Classical Kids CDs, and one of them was about Vivaldi. In the story of the child in Vivaldi's life, the little girl comes to Venice, and as a part of it, she goes to the Island of the Dead, and while she's there, they're playing the summer movement of the Four Seasons, and it's like this big crashing thunderstorm. And I'd always really wanted to go to the Island of the Dead because of that. So I make my way to Venice on the trains, and it was beautiful, and I get there and it's pouring rain. And I get off the train and start to make my way to find a ferry. I cross over some canals and manage to get myself very, very lost very quickly. After about 45 minutes, give in and ask for directions. So I'm asking for the central square. They're telling me to go to San Marco. As I'm wandering through the city, the streets start to flood. Initially, I thought it was because it was raining so hard, but the water was just rising so quickly that I realized the tide was coming in. As I get closer and closer to the square, water is increasing even more, and by the time I get there, I'm walking in shin-deep water. And I go into the square, finally, after hours, and I realize immediately that it is where I've been sent by all of these people, and also not where I wanted to be at all. And I walk in and I expect to see a train station, and instead there's this incredible basilica. The whole interior is covered in gold mosaics. Shining gold mosaics, and there are these beautiful windows at the top that allow the light to come in and just make the whole church glow. And so your eyes are immediately drawn up, and it's like the heavens are coming down, and then you finally look down and the whole church is standing in a foot of water. And I was shocked that such an incredible piece of art that took so much care and time to build could be standing in a foot of water. I was really kind of disgusted, and so I ended up leaving the church, and after I walked through and still didn't know where I was, so I found a tourist office, and I wanted to go to the Island of the Dead, and so I am asking about where this is, and the woman was like, oh, you can take this ferry. So I get on this ferry, and we finally get out to the island. We pull up next to the church, and this church was clearly there so that families could come up in their boats to the platform, and they would then, disembark and walk up the stairs into the church, and so they could, grieve their loved ones. And we pull up, and the water is actually washing up against the door of the church. You couldn't enter the church, and the platform and the stairs are all underwater, and it just was very clear that this beautiful little church is drowning. And I was really kind of shocked and disappointed, just as I was with the basilica. And so anyway, get off the ferry and finish my trip in Italy, and I make my way to Germany. And when I was in Germany, I ran across a painting of the little church on the Island of the Dead, as it had meant to be from a couple hundred years ago, and the water was not washing up against the door. And the white church with the stairs leading down to a marble platform, and the water gently lapping up against the bottom of the platform so a family could ride right up like they were meant to. And it just was so clear in seeing that difference, and it was only 200 or 300 years, and in that time we have created so much change in the environment that we have risen the sea levels and made this beautiful church start to drown. And especially in Venice, which was the creator of so much art and science and technology, and in a lot of ways encouraged the development of the Industrial Revolution that then created climate change, we've really created our own demise in that way. And Venice, is drowning at its own hand. Yeah.
We made our bed, now we have to lie in it.
We do.